Welcome back. You're watching Business Morning on Channels Television. Don't forget you can be part of the program. Just go to any of our social media platforms. You can follow at Biz Morning and send us your thoughts and comments as well on any of the issues we're talking about on the program. You can also tweet at Channels TV, and I'll be glad to engage with you constructively, of course, on Twitter at CTV Harriet is where you can find me. At Bibosin, will also be glad to mind your business. But if you can't find us on Twitter, you can send us an email to businessmorning@channelstv.com. But let's take a look at also some of the other issues that we've got on track here on the show. Aliko Dangote, that's the president of the Dangote Group, says 750,000 barrels per day. Lagos refinery is expected to be listed on the Nigerian Stock Exchange. Part of what he said yesterday when he sounded the closing gong to close trading for the first trading day of the week. The new refinery is expected to account for a fourth of Nigeria's total petrol consumption needs and also prevent hoarding by retailers. Now, also in the news, the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation says a combined production capacity of 4 of the nation's refineries, that's the refineries in Kaduna, Port Harcourt and Warri, stood at 36.73% as at January 2017, and this is up 29% over the December 2016 level. And the Petroleum Ministry says there's been no petrol import licenses for marketers with outstanding payments to the Petroleum Equalization Fund. So if you're a debtor, you're crowded out, you must settle your debts before you can get any license from the Ministry of Petroleum Resources. So those are some of the other issues that we've also got on track on the program today. But turning attention to my next guest, who is the president and chairman of Council of the Chartered Institute of Bankers of Nigeria, Professor Segun Ajibola. He'll be coming on in just a bit to talk to us about what the Chartered Institute of Bankers of Nigeria is doing over the next couple of days. Now, the Chartered Institute of Bankers of Nigeria will be hosting all banking institutes, including over 1,000 banking and finance professionals in the world at the 22nd edition of the World Conference of Banking Institute. The theme of this year's edition is Rethinking the Future of Banking and Finance and Lifelong Learning. It promises, of course, to be an interesting conversation, and you can join in on it. So let me bring in Professor Segun Ajibola now, who is the president and chairman of Council of the CIBN. He's also the Dean, College of Postgraduate Studies at the Caleb University. It's great to have you join me on the program.
Thank you very much, moderator.
So, Professor Ajibola, the CIBN will be hosting the world, as it were, over 1,000 banking and finance professionals. How was it, to secure the hosting rights? Because this is the first time that Nigeria will be hosting such a global event.
Yeah, it's not the easiest of thing to secure the hosting right. This is the third Africa as a continent will be hosting. South Africa hosted before, Kenya hosted, but this is the first. It's coming to West African sub-region. We were able to secure the hosting right first because the Chartered Institute of Bankers of Nigeria happens to be one of the biggest banking professional bodies in the whole world. We have our forays into the West African sub-region, Africa, and we have 3 international branches, which we use as the outpost for reaching out to the international community. And of course, the banking institutes across the world acknowledge a true state of security in Nigeria and the importance and relevance of Nigeria to the global economy in granting Nigeria as a country, this hosting right for the 22nd edition.
Might I be too forward to mention that this also probably is a green tick for the state of the banking industry, Nigeria's banking industry, and what the regulator, the Central Bank of Nigeria, has been doing in ensuring that the banks stay on the right track?
You are quite correct. We enjoyed tremendous support from the regulators, the Central Bank of Nigeria, the Nigerian Deposit Insurance Corporation, and the Bankers Committee as a whole, when we were pursuing this hosting right. And of course, with the renewed focus, with improved corporate governance in our banking system, and with what the international community could see as a rejuvenation of standard banking practices in Nigeria. There was no hesitation at all in endorsing the hosting right for the Chartered List of Bankers of Nigeria.
So this theme now, the theme for this conference is rethinking the future of banking and finance, lifelong learning. Could you talk to us a little bit more on this theme, and what does it really mean?
Banking education is very central to the professional bodies across the globe. And when we talk of rethinking the future of banking education, banking itself is changing on a regular basis. The kind of banking practices we have today because of advanced technology, we didn't have even 10, 15 years back. And banking education must keep pace with the dynamics of the industry. So there is need to refocus how we approach banking education at all levels, even from the secondary school to our university system, even professional training in the institute. One of our mandates as a banking professional institute is to promote banking education in Nigeria. So what will that banking education be in another 10, 15 years, 20 years time, given the changes in banking practices all over? So our education system, what we have as modules, as template for banking education, must think of what banking will be come the next 20 years, come the next 30 years, and align the education system and practices to what the future of the industry will be.